Welcome race fans back to SVR, and today we are here for the S4 division, the second tier of our GT racers. After race 1, Apex Not Found is on 18 points with JCGT on 15. We have in third place Mardenborough with Bad Court Thingy, followed by Real Ian Gav. I can't remember whose name that actually is when it comes to it. Quicks is next on 9 points with Pumpkinkin on 8. Motsky, Icons, Monkey Games, Kelvin the Boss, Enlightened 1, Jay Chiari, and Ed Fields at the back of the standings so far. Kimmy's lead us on 26 points from Coach Dave on 21. Buckstein on have 15, and Brokaga are in the middle of the pack on 14, joint with Jann Mardenborough. Delessi on 13 and Team Mega on 9 points. This is within the division. Of course, we will give you updated joint divisional standings, and I think they'll be quite jumbled from what we're looking at once that is done over the course of the second round here of the championship. We're in Watkins, Glen for the final race of this round of SVR, and I think that's about enough talking. Let's get ourselves trackside and give you a fantastic race ahead of us. 2.3 meters per second northwesterly wind. It looks like we've got very cloudy and overcast conditions, quite a difference to a couple of the races that happened the previous weekend. Solshock will be our safety car driver, and starting at the back of the grid is Breo for Brokaga, with Motsky for Team Mega. In P12, we have Monkey Games for Delessi in that P11, and Jann Mardenborough, Kelvin the Boss in P10. Joining him on row 5 will be Gubinov, the Canadian, in the Mega Transport car on the left, and then the two Buckstein cars, firstly of Quicks, or I should say secondly of Quicks, and then Black Evo one place above him in the number 46. The Brokaga driver Lou will start in 6th place with JCGT in P5, a little bit further back from his finishing order in the previous race. Then we have Jann Mardenborough's Redux in P4, and he's starting on the hard tyres there in the second row of the grid. Apex Specs, I may have to refer to him as Specs here. Also on the hard tyres on row 2 is for Coach Dave, and his teammate is one place above him. Not found. Apex not found. I did suggest a race-off for the right to use Apex between these two, but I was somewhat laughed out of the room from them. But the pole position man is Empire in the Porsche. So let's get ourselves organised. Let's get ready for a race around Watkins Glen, and hopefully we will have a fantastic one. Keep an eye on that tall blue lit Dodge Charger in the background. I wonder if we will see an appearance from our safety car driver. So we're ready to get underway. We've got 5 red lights for the second round. We had a jump forward from the, I think that was Redux in the Jann Mardenborough Interiors car, as racing around the outside in the Ferrari. Quite typically is JCGT storming into an early lead straight away, and JCGT straight into the lead. Black Evo going a long way round the outside will just about, I'm not sure if he'll hold on to the position there as he runs through. And let's just rewind while we have that opportunity to do so, back to the start and have a look from a more rear car's perspective at what went down. This is driving with Quicks, who had a slow getaway. We've got the Jann Mardenborough car on the inside making contact there with, I think, teammate. With his teammate, unfortunately, which was going to be causing problems for him, and then navigating their way through the next few corners. They run, it's getting all a bit swamped, and he makes a second load of contact with his teammate. Sadly, Redux really feeling it here as Specs is suffering from a poor start himself. But JCGT in the Ferrari, in the quick starting Ferrari, as pulling across the inside goes Apex Specs in P5, just taking the better line through the corner, and it's Kelvin who is left to try and avoid running into his light blue accented JPI teammate Redux. who has already been contacted a couple of times. Will he go for a third load of contact as they race hard between the two teammates? I wonder if there's a tyre difference here going on. There is not a tyre difference, and then it's Redux who gets the inside line. Kelvin the Boss just feeding back in as the mega driver. Kelvin the Boss comes and I think makes contact potentially with the Brokaga. Let's wind that one back and see what just happened. It is let's have a look. It is Lou here, and I think we just got a little bit loose there for the Team Mega Car. Let's just watch that one more time as we head in towards the toe of the boot. He's on the outside to start with. I think we're going to see a dive to the inside here. Not exactly, but the door does open to him, and then it looks like Gubanov getting some traction oversteer and possibly even a shade of netcode there for a moment, as on that view it didn't look like any contact was actually made. Problem start for the Brokaga team, who are now in 12th and 13th position from the start away, with Solshock heading towards pit road and just bringing up the rear, then making sure that everybody is completing that first lap safely. Your front three are JC, GT, Empire and Apex not found, but we've had another accident in the background. We have got a huge amount of contact between these drivers early doors, and that was Gubanov yet again making contact, and for a third time, unfortunately. Let's wind this back then and see what happened as they come towards the back of the knee. Gubanov going for a wide entry, going for a switch back here, gets out onto the barrier, has nowhere to go as Kelvin the Boss manages to steer directly into his path. Then we've got the rejoin happening as he rejoins, and well, I mean, I don't know if Breo just went straight into him. Let's just replay that back in real time from Breo's perspective and be as fair as we can to him, because rounding the corner he could have been unsighted to this incident. Well, I mean, it was happening. There seemed to be plenty of time to move aside, and there was a car width, at least from what I can see, but as we've established previously, I am no steward, and I don't have any skin in the game with these decisions. So Empire holding that inside line early doors. JCGT in the Ferrari are three medium runners here at the front, as you would expect, but JCGT looking very, very racy and looking for that opportunity to have a good look down the inside. Empire very much stepping into the breach here in S4, a regular S2 driver in an entirely different machine. And that was a little dummy move from JCGT, but Empire not buying anything that he was selling at that point as they navigate the bus stop. Once again, let's have a look as we go through Black Evo, Redux, and then Quicks with the black front today on the Bugstein car. I've not seen that before. Moxkey in 7th, Kelvin the Boss in 8th, closely followed by Apex Specs, who was dropped down from that second row start, I think it was, down into 9th position on the racing hard tyres, also with front splitter and front right suspension damage on his Coach Dave Academy Audi. Monkey Games is P10. Breo and Lou, the Brokagas, are still near the back in 11th and 12th, but Gubanov has, I think, had to pit and fit and repair his car. He's now had a new set of hard tyres fitted as the top three run through, but it looks like Black Evo starting to get himself into a nice rhythm now on the medium tyres, and ironically somewhat, Black Evo is not the Brokaga, the Bugstein car with the black front on it. He's got a couple of black little dive planes on the car there, but it looks like Empire into that nice rhythm and putting a gap now on JCGT as we run through. I think we are going to be going for a 50 minute race, but I'm not actually seeing a countdown of time, so that is slightly unusual. Normally I would be seeing a countdown, but we will have to keep our eyes peeled there for the final lap notification. But the medium tyre runners are driving very well indeed. Redux then, the first of the hard tyre runners, with his matte black and light blue Jan-placked interiors. That has still not been caught by Team Boss here, or at least it has been allowed through by the Team Boss. Almost, it looks too black, doesn't it, with the matte effect. It's definitely being hidden somewhat in plain view. Then we've got this alternate livery from Bugstein with the black front. You'll have to let me know what you think to that one, as Quicks is in P6 and following in the wheel tracks of the hard tyre shod Redux in front, so Quicks really could do with making a manoeuvre past him. Motzky's in 7th, running right round the outside goes Kelvin the Boss on the hard tyres. Motzky also on the hard tyres. I think this group are all on the hard tyres, and we've got Apex Specs, and behind him Monkey Games with matching damage, well, not matching, symmetrical damage between the two of them. We've got front damage and front left suspension on Monkey Games. Delesi with the Volvo sponsorship on the rear, but Porsche and Volvo, two car manufacturers you would probably struggle to find more different between the two of them. Breo and Lou 11th and 12th, and Gubanov down in 13th place, some half a lap now back, but having made his pit stop and looking to run incredibly long through the race. I'm kind of expecting 2 pit stops if the drivers are going for the traditional route and a 50-minute race. New fastest lap from Empire at that time, as the gap builds between P1 and P2 and 3. JCGT here in the Ferrari, absolutely lightning off the start, as we saw in S3 as well, and making full use and not actually looking like he's holding up Apex Not Found in the Audi at this stage. All on the medium tyre with Black Evo still within sight, but losing out to a small degree. Let's join Quicks on board the Buckstein car then as we head towards the bus stop. We are gaining thanks to the slipstream of the wedge-shaped Lamborghini Huracan. Much wider entry for Quicks potentially through here, and then the car in front is entirely obliterated by the knuckles of the steering wheel for Quicks. From this point of view anyway. Behind him there's a big space of empty sky there, so lots of wiggle room then in the background. You can see the Audi and the Ferrari getting quite close together in front of this group for the battle for P2, but at this time anyway, we've got Quicks running in P6 and comfortably in that P6, and can only really have to worry about the car in front. Behind them then, further back, we've got Motzky's Lexus for Team Mega, as we zoom right into the number 612 through the heel of the boot. Tilt your head to one side and you'll see why we refer to this as the boot section. And then I stretch the metaphor quite considerably, usually to call this one the back of the knee almost, before we head in towards the left-right to finish the race. That never lift message is still on the bonnet of the hazard signal flashing Coach Dave Academy car of Apex Specs then. One of the two Apexes. It's a safe bet here in S4, and running through then and setting himself a 51.0, very, very close to his best time so far, as he gets comfortable on the tyres, but will have a very different handling car after his pit stop. He'll have the damage repaired, and he will have a new set of, I'm assuming, at least new hards, if not new medium tyres to deal with. Monkey Games running well. Kelvin the Boss has pitted off the medium tyres after just 5 laps, so that is very early for him. That's earlier than I was expecting anybody to make a scheduled stop, so I wonder if he's had an off-track excursion. Certainly he's dropped behind both Bro Kargas, but not to the extent that perhaps he would he had an accident, because Gubanov is still some distance back from this one. Gubanov with the major incident there at the start of the race, and the low growl. Now Empire is absolutely unlocking some electric pace here on the medium tyres and building a big gap, not just to the other medium runners, but especially so to the lead hard tyre runner Redux. So if we just scroll back to see Redux here in the matte black Jan-placked interior car with the unicorn iconography, you can see Redux is about a sector behind Empire's lead. So it's difficult, because when we're viewing from the replay's point of view, it's a little bit difficult to see the actual gaps. We don't get that updated. But passing the pit lane, being instructed to go bowling, as they will be at the end of every lap here at Watkins Glen, Redux comes through on a 150.515. Fastest lap so far. Empire's 148.0 on the medium tyres, but fat with fuel at this stage. And then behind Redux, He's managed to generate a comfort gap anyway, back to Quicks there in the black-nosed Buckstein Transport Service car. Glorious look to Watkins Glen here. I kind of call it the North American Spa because of the elevation change, and also slightly because of the red and yellow curbing. It kind of gives that feel. Redux perhaps not ideal through the bus stop, and Quicks gets to gain here. It's right on board with Quicks anyway on the sort of pseudo passenger seat experience here, if passengers were allowed in these fantastic GT3 cars. And you get an idea about the sense of motion the drivers are experiencing in that VR, but it's even more so, I would say. Solshock, I believe, is still waiting in the pits, or he may even have quit out, because we're probably only expecting to use the safety car if we have a big pile-up in lap 1. Try and make sure that we have the caution tape about on the back of the Buckstein Transport Service car there. He's got an L plate and caution, so I think, like me, racing as a rookie here and keeping in the dirty air of Redux, and not doing a bad job by any stretch is Quicks, the newcomer, if his rear wing is to be believed anyway, to League Racing. I know we've got a big mix of abilities throughout SVR, and the beauty of our teams being represented across the entire spectrum of our types of cars that we operate under means that drivers are seeded in their teams and they are mixed ability, so they get to learn from each other, and that's Apex Not Found completing an overtake there. Let's see if now it's fully alongside one another. Was it going into turn 1 and compromising the line perhaps there of Black Evo running out wide, and actually it ended up being really easy for Apex Not Found to go through. Didn't even really have to do anything on the brakes. Unfortunately managed to spook Black Evo potentially off track, and then you've got to be really careful because you will pick up a penalty for running beyond that curbing on the exit of turn 1, as we then go into the bus stop, which is a matter of who dares get close to the barrier. On the right hand side, I'll show you what I mean if we ride on board with Motsky here. That barrier with the orange tip is the closer you can get to that, the faster you will go through the bus stop. But obviously, if you get too close, you'll do far worse than take off a wing mirror. Apex Specs is in P8, still with that damage on the car, as the Delessi has behind him as well, racing from New Zealand, Monkey Games here, or at least representing New Zealand. I think he is racing out of New Zealand for us, so for him it is a fairly early start for the races. And P9 for the Delessi car. His teammate, though, currently Empire, leading our race. Let's just check out to see Empire, shall we? Because I wonder if he is heading towards the pit lane. He's certainly passing the pit lane and not progressing in towards it at this stage. Nearly 13 minutes have elapsed from the race as JCGT comes out of the final corner. We've got Empire just going into the first corner, so just the length of the start-finish straight separating P1 and P2. Black Evo then pits, and that is about, I would say, on schedule then for a medium tyre starting car. And here he is in pit road, having the fuel fitted. He's had his tyres done already, and we get a really nice view at this neutral fan favourite Buckstein Transport Service car. As he comes out of the pits, how far back will he be? He will be behind Breo at least. Will it also be Lou? Will we see Lou go past? We will, I think. Is that Lou? Because I think Breo had already passed. No, it's not. So Kelvin, he slots in between Breo and Kelvin the Boss out in P10. Lou pitted, that's why that happened. So we've got preserving the tyres incredibly well at the moment, Kelvin the Boss, but I think because he pitted, so he's now got those medium tyres on. There we've got Lou in the pits, as Gubinoff, who has pitted once and then picked up further damage, sadly, in the Lexus, so not having a smooth day of things. And then the car in the pits is Lou, so he drops down to last place now. That means that Gubinoff at the back has picked up a position through the undercut, so far, despite the fact that he's had some off-track moments. This, though, is Empire in the Delesi. He doesn't have the stripes down the middle of the car that some of his S1 colleagues do, but comes into the pits, avoids pit lane entry problems at the end of lap 8 then, and having used most of his tyres. It looks like, though, JCGT is happy on the same tyre wear proportion, and now you can see the headlights have come on the cars. We are reducing the amount of light available to the drivers, whether that's through weather or through time of day. Elapsing quickly is the more likely aspect than JCGT. His headlights ablaze, and he is now into the lead of the race. His Empire and Quicks are in the pits and brimming the tank with fuel. I imagine we'll be going for a long, hard tyre stint now, potentially. Apex not found is in second place. Redux in third here on the hard tyres. See how deep into the race he can go. Will he be running a hard medium or a hard medium? This will be an interesting proportion of the race then, as we head into the second phase really of the race for the medium tyre starters. That's Motsky in what looks to be a matte black rendition of the dummy designed Team Mega car, rather than the Team Captain Vicinity designed Team Mega car with the pinstripes. Then Empire, with the yellow Porsche lights ablaze, has come out just in front of his teammate, so no problems for him. Full tank of fuel, new hard tyres, and now this will be a very, very differently handling Porsche with the rear engine, rear wheel drive, and a full tank of fuel at this stage, so the car will be struggling. The fuel tank, of course, at the front of the car, the opposite to the engine, which will balance things out somewhat for him, front to back. But then, of course, the front gets lighter and lighter throughout the course of the race, as opposed to one of the front engine rear-wheel drive cars, of which there are a great many in the field, not least, of course, the one in front of Empire right now, which is the Lexus of Motsky here for Team Mega. So Empire, still, you can see it still says his outlap, so he is still being as careful as possible on his way through. Motsky getting pretty bad understeer through the penultimate corner there, and Empire would have been hoping, I think, that Motsky was due a pit stop, but of course he doesn't necessarily know the tyre strategy of Motsky, unless Motsky happens to have informed our AI engineer Hector of his tyres, and Hector has decided to tell the truth today to Empire. This is a great slipstream for Empire. Will Motsky allow him through because they're on different races? I think not. I think Motsky, well, he's taking his normal racing line there. It's not a chop across the bow. It is just part of being in the S's. Now Empire's got a big decision to make. Does he go for it? No, he dare not lose his net lead, and that you can see very, very close to that barrier on the right hand side on the entrance. So Empire really dialed in here, despite the fact that it's not his normal machine to be using. He's normally a high downforce open wheel super formula car. Touch too close there, out onto the marbles. Now I have to just reconfigure, make sure that he gets his tyres up to temperature. Motsky washing out once again mid-corner through the toe of the boot. This should now mean on the new tyres that Empire can use that additional traction. Certainly got his car far enough alongside here as they head towards the heel to claim that apex, to brake later. Too late though, it looks like, from Empire, sadly. He'll try and hold on here as they head towards the back of the knee, and this is an unnecessarily long phase here for him, as then Motsky, with the dirty air effect on the front wing, manages to get himself out of shape, unfortunately, on the older hard tyres that he's worn quite considerably. And to add insult to injury, Motsky picks up a half-second penalty for being off track and using the throttle, which is horrible. JCGT's in the pits. He's just on his way out, which means Empire has managed to at least stay ahead of the former second place man, JCGT, who's now dropped behind both Motsky, I think, and Monkey Games. So that means that Monkey Games can do a bit of a job here for his teammate and hold up second place if they're in communication. They almost certainly will be, but it's probably a bit early in the season to be making too many tactical manoeuvres like this. And now it must be a case of deja vu all over again for Motski, who has a Delesi Porsche directly behind him with the yellow lights ablaze. You're never quite confident that the driver who's just passed you hasn't just had an accident and you've not seen him off track, or he's pitted and he's come back out directly behind you. So you're kind of wondering, am I going to be as easily passed here as I was just a few moments ago? Shouldn't be the case, because Monkey Games is still on his first set of tyres with some damage on the car as well, but he is working the wheel. And then again, Monkey Games with an early apex, almost double apexing the toe of the boot, it seems. And then of course there's the effect of that penalty marker, making Monkey Games overtake really very easy indeed. So I wonder if we'll be headed towards pit lane. 20 minutes have now elapsed. I don't think any of the drivers are going to be brave enough to one-stop this race, if indeed we are going for 50 minutes, like Monkey Games Racing on the rear wing, and should technically, I think, by corporate have been mandating a Dutch flag across that rear wing, but they've certainly given a bit of latitude here to Monkey, who's gone for Monkey Games Racing on the back wing. Nice little detail there, but leaving a slightly personal touch. I'm sure he's still got the Dutch national anthem playing on the team radio though, as per corporate policy. Empire leads us. Monkey Games is now in second because Redux and Apex Not Found have pitted on the same lap despite starting on different tyres. What's happening with Apex Not Found here? He has just brimmed the tank with fuel and he's now out on the medium tyres. So he'll be interested to see where he feeds back out. He seems to be coming out just behind Redux. They pitted on the same lap. So work to do for him. Kelvin the Boss is currently bossing P9 and picks up a half-second penalty. That wasn't for the corner we were just on. I think that would have been through turn 1. Unfortunately for him, it's not a huge penalty, but it does suck all of your momentum as you come out of the toe of the boot and pointing uphill. Breo's down in 10th place with Lou in 11th. Gubanov still probably about almost a sector behind P11 at this stage. And Apex Specs down in 13th, despite starting high up in our grid, is about to give up the lead lap here to Empire, who is following him. Now that's going to be a really big problem for Apex Specs inside the helmet. He's going to be wondering what went wrong, what went so wrong today to be in a situation where after just 12 laps we are being lapped by the leader. So he's... Oh, Empire with a very uncharacteristic issue. Manages to clatter into those water bowsers on the pit lane entry. That is absolutely one of the most bizarre situations I can remember seeing, as it looked like he was going for a late dash into the pit lane. Massive damage on the car. That allows Motski through to P1, still having yet to pit. JCGT fully alongside, and somehow or other Empire managing to get through and stay in the lead. That is a very odd one, as Motski was presumably quite tentative, not quite sure what Empire was doing. Then you've got, a big squeeze to the barrier. That is huge. Empire with damage on the car, and I do question whether he should have given more racing room. At first glance, that looked a little bit rough. He's slow away here. You can see the car coming up from behind. I think the car was alongside, and, well, I mean, the stewards will make their own determination about that one, but Empire... certainly there was not a car's width at the apex there for Motski, and that just plays into the hands of JCGT, who cruises on through and into the lead of the race. So a couple of issues within the same sector, or at least within the same maybe 1 mile distance for Empire, and then he is wearing a huge amount of damage, both front wheels and the front wing on the Porsche. Having only just pitted for his hard tyre stint, that is nightmare fuel for Empire, and he's going to have to drive around that one. Presumably now this is going to lose a lot of time lap on lap for him. His fastest so far is the fastest so far at 1:48.0. We're going to have to see how much slower the lap 14 will be for him. Of course, lap 13 will be excessively slow, but now we've got Black Evo closing in, and he's having a look in the Nismo GTR here at a possible overtake for the former leader and poleman Empire, and I bet he can't quite believe his luck. Motsky then still in second with JCGT leading the race. It looks like a little dive down the inside there from the 46. Empire this time leaving a gap, and he's heading towards the pit lane, it seems. I don't think he's got the turn signal on there for the drivers behind, but Empire goes into the pits. He can't drive around the damage. We won't know just how much slower he was, but certainly falling into the clutches of the Buckstein Transport Service pairing, despite the fact that they've got different paint designs at the moment. Someone's thrown a tin of black paint across the front of Quick's car, and Radux follows them close behind as this glorious looking Watkins Glen rendered by Gran Turismo continues through into lap 14, and we are 25 minutes gone. Just a quick note here, I will only say this once today, but we are still in need of your financial support to keep these streams running and produced to the level that you will obviously come to expect, particularly around S2 and S4. So please donate to the league through the link on the channel. Oh, Radux! I'll complete that thought in a moment as Radux noses himself into the barrier there on the ankle section of the boot. Unfortunately, avoids any noticeable damage. But yes, please go to the Discord server and donate using PayPal, and just indicate that your donation is aimed towards the S2 and S4 streams, if you are so willing. If you want to support my channel, you absolutely can do, and likewise, if you would like to just indicate that the support is for that purpose, then do so. There is a greater fee, but I know not everybody can use PayPal internationally, so if you wish to, any profit made while stating that it's in support of this particular league's videos, I will absolutely honour, of course. And please, if you can, make sure you're subscribing to @SVR-Racing channel and mine, and you can always hit the notification bell on and off for race days to make sure you get all the action here. And liking and subscribing is, of course, a free way that you can give your support to this fantastic, amazing league that we are building together with you, of course, here at SVR. Apex Not Found is in P6, and he's got Kelvin just pitting behind him. So lots of drama happening still trackside. We've got Monkey Games, who has put his medium tyres on now, and maybe going hard, medium, soft here today. I wonder, given the stage of the race that we're at. Empire has gone for another set of hard tyres. Now, he could have used the option, as he was making an unscheduled stop, could have used the option to just decline the hard tyre and go on to another new set of mediums and run those to the end, potentially. But he feels that maybe he can save a pit stop, I think, getting through to the end of the race with potentially less than half distance still remaining. My apologies on the distance here. I really should have sorted this out beforehand. But Empire is in P8 right now and blasting through and hoping then, of course, to pick up some additional places soon. The Delesi ferry and logistics firm, one of our many great supporters here in the title sponsorship of our tremendous teams. Ooh, that was a bit weird, but I think Empire with a bit of lag there, suddenly teleporting across the circuit. We've got Breo in P9, and he's lifted himself slightly from his starting position. The Supra, though, doesn't seem to have been enjoying the first two races of this season. Certainly in S3 it was a bit of a handful and not one of the favoured cars, and in S4 it seems to be the same situation, although Brokaga's S4 team standings are looking healthier than they are in the other divisions at this stage, so kind of punching above here somewhat, the Brokaga team. As I mentioned earlier, though, all teams have been seeded with faster and slower drivers in each seat in the leagues, so it should all even out. But obviously we will work out a good transfer system in the postseason. and make sure that we balance the books as much as possible. Kelvin the Boss is P11 for Jan Placht. He's on new medium tyres, so presumably will have to pit again before the end of the race. And Gubanov is in P12 with huge damage on the car and about to pit, I would hope anyway, for his perspective, because that is going to be an almost undrivable car as the sun continues to hide away behind the dark clouds and possibly behind the horizon as well soon. Looks like Gubanov is going around, not wanting to pit again, just waiting for that medium tyre window to open and as close as you like to the barrier. So still pushing very hard indeed, which is what we love to see. Apex Specs back with Gubanov trying to make a recovery drive here, but it does look like Solshock in the safety car has departed from us and is not sitting waiting to be invited onto track by race control. Back to the Bugstein drivers and Redux, who are still perhaps the closest drivers together on track. Black Evo now in second place, leading Quicks in third, and Bugstein would love to stop the count right now, because a double podium would be very, very welcome for the drivers and for the team personnel. And then we've got Redux in that P4, and yeah, definitely is getting darker on the circuit. We might be finishing in night conditions. That was a long way back for Redux to be looking for a manoeuvre, but he might have done enough here to just put Quicks offline. It's right on board with Redux. You can see that white car then almost being blindingly bright in the headlights of Redux's Lamborghini Huracan as we come through. Some of the street lights on in the car park facility on the infield and outfield sections of the race. In we go to the bus stop. Bugstein Nismo front end just moving around quite a bit, and the car in front of the car in front is also washing out somewhat. So we are struggling here at this phase before they make their final pit stops to see this race out. Great to ride on board with Redux, who gets a fantastic drive. The door is definitely open here, and we'll head into the toe of the boot now. Can we get the drive? We've got the racing line on the inside, which feeds out into not the racing line on the inside of the corner. And there we go then, managing to get the overlap and now splitting the two Bugstein cars. We see a retaliatory move. We absolutely will. Forgive me, just trying to swap cameras, and they make contact, I think, at the next corner, and they'll continue to run side by side. Fantastic sequence between these two. How close can you get between them? And Redux missing a gear or having to decline an upshift at least, and then they'll continue to try and go side by side, leaving good racing room between us, and then Quicks holds on to that P3 eventually, and then after all said and done, both Bugstein cars pit at this exact same moment, directly on schedule after 32 minutes. You've got to wonder, why was Quicks fighting that one quite so hard to then put himself in a somewhat dangerous position of being immediately in front of a driver when you then have to pit on the racing line, on the pit lane entry, which is a personal bugbear of mine. I don't know why racing track designers do this to our drivers. You should neither feed out nor feed in on the racing line. Just make that a standard, please, throughout world circuits. JCGT leads us, Redux in second, and Apex not found then, trying to navigate his way to those apexes using the headlights, which is a harder job than perhaps it might seem. Let's ride on board with him, and you can see how you really want to be looking further to the right for the right-handers and further to the left-handers than where your headlights actually point, which is dead ahead. You don't have adaptive headlight control as you do on some premium road cars now that turn in with the turn of the steering wheel. That would be very, very handy indeed. I wonder if they do that in WEC. It's another feature I'm completely familiar with, but the absolute pitch black behind Apex not found, our Spaniard racing behind two USA drivers, and then Empire has found its way back to P4 with a few minutes, with what I'm guessing to be about 18 minutes remaining in the race. There are the yellow headlights of the Porsche of Empire. He's on the hard tyres. He's hoping to get to the end with the fuel and recover this race. He thinks that, well, he'll be fairly certain that JCGT and Redux and Apex Not Found may well still have to pit. We have somebody in the pits right now, but they're not inside the top 8. And behind Empire then, they come through. You can always tell the Porsches. They're the ones with the yellow lights, and they're back together again on track, reunited, and it feels so good between the Delesi pairing in 4th and 5th. It would represent a really good result for the team, of course, with Empire and Monkey Games working together. Empire coming out of the pits directly. Is he behind the Lexus there of, I'm assuming, Gubanov? So getting through comfortably because the blue flags were given. You can see the blue flag light repeaters trackside there, and the distance that the headlights shine is not actually very great, is it, for the drivers? And a little flash of the lights, I think possibly that's a controller driver. I don't think there's any communication necessary there, unless it was Monkey Games saying you need to let me through here. Mr. Lapped car. Breo has made his way up to 6th position, but I think still has to pit. And then behind him, we've got the former podium sitters of Black Evo and Quicks. How far away are they from the likes of JCGT and Redux? They are about a sector away, and they'll come together then through the pit stop procedure. Black Evo being pretty brave there, out on the grass with 2 wheels on the exit of the ankle section, yeah, running very nicely. At this stage, Black Evo and Quicks has been dropped by Black Evo somewhat. Yeah, some work to do yet for him to get back on terms with his teammate. Lost out through the pit stop period. You'll have to believe me, this is Motsky in the Lexus. For those of you who are good at spotting car silhouettes, this is the Lexus. Redux pits in the wedge-shaped Lamborghini off the medium tyres then. We have Kelvin the Boss running in P10, and once we get to be at the start-finish straight, you do see a lot more of the cars, but for now, that is Kelvin the Boss in the Amplact interior car. You can tell because it's the black one. Lou in the Bro Carga is P11 with Apex Specs in 12, and Gubanov still at the back at the moment, unfortunately for him, and now being lapped by a number of drivers. JCGT. Let's ride on board with him, shall we? Because frankly, it's becoming somewhat difficult to see anything. JCGT leads. Oh, we've got a spin. We've got a spin from Apex Not Found. That's a big one, unfortunately for him. Let's replay that then. It's a bus stop issue, and just being offline, compounding one for another. Unfortunately, the one advantage of doing these rejoins, though, in the dark is there's no doubt when there's another car on its way. But a frightening moment there for Empire, who comes through. So Empire has recovered to 12th, but not entirely down to his own ability. Empire comes in towards the ankle as JCGT is heading through the boot, the heel of the boot. This is going to be fascinating. I think JCGT will be heading towards pit road very, very soon, unless he thinks he can get this car home. I can't imagine with just a quarter of a tank of fuel. So I think JCGT still has that pit stop to make, running medium, hard, medium as a strat today. So he will come through with what I'm guessing to be about 12.5 minutes still to run. Now, this is a slow run through the final corner. That means he's headed towards pit road. And I've not had to do this myself and pit in the dark. That's got to make that pit lane entry sequence even harder, as a full tyre change then for the Kimi's racing team Ferrari. And of course, some fuel added. Won't need to be a huge amount of fuel. But I anticipate there'll be some medium tyres going on. Now, Empire's coming through the penultimate corner, heading towards the final corner. I think they will be at least raceable to the end of the race now. But of course, JCGT on brand new tyres, Empire on very used hards. So can Empire recover this race, recover P1 as we feed into our final section of this race? Here he comes out of the pits, and he is just with the Ferrari. Let me confirm the tyre choice. It is mediums for the Ferrari, but they will be cold for the first half a lap only here. So Empire knows this is his one and possibly only chance to make an overtake. We'll go to the side. We will go through and past, will we? I'm trying to see whether the driver is in our wheel tracks, and they make contact. Empire on the racing line. potentially, I have to say, but that is a battle for the lead. Let's try and catch that from off board here. Empire, you can just about see he does have an overlap. He does have a right to the corner and then tagged from the inside into that horrible position on the barrier. A full-on spin as JCGT just carries on. That's well. That was contact, that was an overtake, that was a defence, but Empire now with damage again when he was on the cusp of recovering that lead in the 911. He has got to be feeling particularly aggrieved by that treatment. This is a guest driving to try and keep the point scoreboard ticking over for Leigh, but Empire had high hopes of coming in and debuting in S4 and picking up a win, and I think that is now going to be a dim and distant memory, that hope. So Empire in P4, sadly. Now, can I be a stickler about the livery here for Leigh and suggest that we move the Volvo Trucks sponsorship up a little and complete the red stripe across the back window? I just want that to line up. If they line up each side, and I just want that circle to be completed. But I'm a stickler. My apologies. Or you change it to white and have a red bandana effect across it. Anyway, JCGT holds on to the lead for now. I will, before the end of the stream, consult the stewards' decisions because I'm confused about that one. I'm wondering whether that will hold. Monkey Games in the formerly second position, Leigh, and second in team Leigh. He now pits for his final set of tyres, and I'm thinking we've got 10 minutes remaining then. So just a small amount of fuel necessary, going straight in the hood of the Porsche there, in the bonnet, and the front at least of the Porsche as they run through. Of course, the classic Porsche and VW Beetle rear engine front fuel tank positioning there for the German automakers. Oh, that looks like contact. It is contact between Apex Not Found and Redux. That was very muscular between the two of them. Shall we chance a replay of that little moment? This is Apex Not Found in the lead, and again he closes up through the S's. The driver's not really being quite careful enough, I think, through this first sector. It really is a treacherous place to try and overtake. I understand why they do it, and they get tremendous slipstream effect going through there, but some more caution would be necessary. Across the grid of this S4 race, by at least by my estimation anyway. We could do with a little bit cleaner racing. I know that tin tops, I know that GT racing can be more muscular than open wheelers, but I'm thinking that we still need to give enough racing room, especially here at Watkins Glen, where there are barriers each side of the racetrack. Very, very little in the way of gravel runoffs or even tarmac runoffs here. So yeah, lots of learnings to be had, I think, from the race. As Quicks then in the Bergstein car with the black nose is the second of the Bergstein. Now, he was with his teammate in the second phase of this race. He's now 4 places apart. Black Evo back into second place. Let's have a look at him as he is lapping a car, I believe, in front. I don't think that's not JCGT's Ferrari, that car that Kimi's, and there's the blue flag to prove it as they crossed the line to start lap 23 here. JCGT is miles ahead, and he might be making the determination. If he gets a 5 or 10 second penalty for his contact with Empire, then he'd better well build the gap to make that happen, to make that a moot point at the end of the race. Here is Empire, and he'll be feeling quite aggrieved, quite cross in the cockpit, I imagine, but at least it's not his championship here, because this is his he is making a guest appearance. It is, of course, his team's championship, but from a driver's perspective, I think if he were leading the championship or in the fight for the championship, I think he'd be feeling even more angry. Quicks is chasing down Apex Not Found then as we head into find the apexes of this bus stop. Big wiggle. I thought Apex had found a great line, but unfortunately front end said no. Quicks with damage on the front and front left suspension. We've got a yellow flag up ahead. I think that might have just been a very short-lived one, nobody spinning particularly, and we peer into the dark here at Watkins Glen. There's another yellow flag up ahead, and there is a spinner now, And that is a Leigh. Tell me it is not Empire. I don't think it is. Who is that on track? It's Leigh of Monkey Games. Was it? No, we still have a car stuck in the barriers. Let me try and find that. It's Apex Specs then. And I wonder, did Apex Specs just quit out? I think he did. We couldn't even capture what happened. Let me try at least, because I'm sure you'll be interested to see what happened here. He's got his hazards on as he heads then in. Oh, it's a disconnection. That's a full-on disconnection. There's no driver error to be had there. A full-on mechanical disconnection. That is just GT7 trying to right the car. So yeah, just drove straight into the barrier, unfortunately, and that will explain the exit from the game and everything. So no blame, I don't think, on Apex Specs' seat. Back to the leader, somewhat controversially, JCGT in the Ferrari by Kimi's racing team. You have to believe me, because this track is not floodlit, except down that start-finish straight. Let's have a look. It's not even floodlit there. It's just the pit lane that's well lit. So Black Evo is probably out of striking distance, out of hunting distance even, from the leader, JCGT. Empire likewise, and he's got Redux right behind him. It's just, we're going to have to ride on board with the drivers here, I think, to try and enjoy some idea about what's going on. There's nothing behind Redux here in the Lamborghini, and he is now gunning for a provisional podium. So notwithstanding any potential steward decisions that might affect the P1 at this stage. And here we have Empire moving to defend down the inside, and he'll be worried about going into the bus stop once again. Let's have a look from his perspective as he's got the inside line. He's taking it very, very carefully, and this time I think the two racers are going full on side by side through the bus stop, and he manages to claim this position back. I can't even see where Redux is. I'm trying to find him. There he is. Wow, it was with him the whole way through those corners, and diving down the inside then. They'll continue to try and run side by side here. Redux tries to take the traditional racing line entry, and is slightly to the middle there on the approach to the braking zone, moves across to the left, makes his intentions clear, and a nice clean exchange then between Empire and Redux. At this stage we ride on board with the former leader and pole position man debuting with us, or at least guest driving here with us, I should say. And down then we go in towards the heel of the boot. I think there are fewer than 5 minutes remaining in the race, and JCGT is heading towards the final corner, where there are 3 remaining corners here for Empire and Redux to transition through. Redux just kicking out a little bit of dirt and grass over the curb, but Empire is really struggling with that front end. Turning left seems to be more difficult thanks to the right front damage on the car than it does when you load up the opposite side front. And then you can see he's losing pace, he's losing speed here. His fastest at 48.0, his best with the damage 52.7, except for possibly lap 25. We don't know exactly how quick lap 25 was. There's a nice battle going on here. Down for P5, 6 and 7, that is Apex Not Found, Quicks and Motsky. Motsky, oh, he's even got Monkey Games right behind him as well. Monkey Games has gone for the soft tyres, so that's the Mega Lexus in front, fighting over the Nismo. Some racing room not really quite given there between the two of them, and a bit of a nightmare scenario here for Monkey Games as it goes down the inside. That was a heavy defence from Quicks, and they managed to negotiate their way through the bus stop without further contact. So I think no revenge being sought between these drivers as we ride here on board the Leigh Porsche on the soft tyres, and actually those softs are starting to fade off now. They were in a really good position with the grip relative to the cars in front, but it is a fantastically packed midfield here in front of this trio as we ride, and the 2 cars in front is Apex Not Found in the Coach Dave Academy Audi R8 as well. So fantastic to enjoy the race with these drivers. I think we are going on to the penultimate lap with JCGT now, but again I'll have to just confirm that when it appears. So I think that is JCGT starting his 26th lap of what I anticipate to be 27 complete laps and now things are getting very, very close and dicey between our drivers here. Let's give you full screen action as we run through, and hopefully the headlights will help us through here to see what's going on. This is Monkey Games on board with the Leigh driver, now getting the better exit, better apex as well through the final corner, and then running through, and that is McGee going for a manoeuvre down the inside. We've seen this work and not work today, and then that is absolutely working out for Monkey Games, who gets the inside line. Does he? Not quite. He has to just yield for fear of being squeezed at the apex. It's almost like he's been watching this this race to this point. We've got McGee not fearing too much here, and they're about to go 3 wide. They kick up a whole load of dust, being in unfamiliar territory on the racetrack, and they are going to try and go 3 wide into the bus stop. The Nismo just nosing ahead there. McGee trying to slip through past the Audi R8, but actually it is a good manoeuvre in the end, I think, from Quicks, who gets through. That means that Apex Not Found has gone from 5th down to 7th, and it might be about to lose a further position. Meanwhile, Monkey Games just has to spectate what is a fantastic transition period for all 3 drivers. McGee up 1, we've got Quicks up 2, and we're going for a switchback manoeuvre here. Are we on the soft tyres? Try and get that drive away from the corner, and we do get that drive away from the corner beautifully on board. The Leigh Porsche just getting that hooked up really nicely, so at least we'll try and get that 1 position, and we've already got the tail ahead. Very late on the brakes though goes Apex Not Found, comparatively very conservative, and off the track goes the Buckstein Transport Service car of Quicks, and McGee going right round the outside. Can he hang on there? I think so. I'm moving left and right to try and see around the cars, and that's not going to do me any good here on a flat screen. So crossing through. Then he's got the car on the inside again, and passing Apex Not Found once again as we run through. What tremendous sequence between the drivers here, and unfortunately for Apex Not Found, he did come unstuck through that period, and I wonder if there was in fact contact. Let's ride on board with him as we go in towards the penultimate corner. It looks like dirty yet. No, he was helped, and he tried to right himself using the Porsche. Apex Not Found. It ended in tears in the end, but while it lasted, that was a tremendous sequence. So congratulations to the 3 of them at this point. Anyway, here comes Lou to close out his what I think to be his penultimate lap, and then I will get confirmation as soon as I have a driver that actually crosses the line after the 50th minute. Then I will know where we stand. This should be it for Breo. Final lap for him. Thank you. That's what I needed to see. So this is confirmed as the final lap then. JCGT leading as the 50th minute has now elapsed. That is it now. 1 more to go as McGee in the Lexus has now caught Empire, would you believe? So McGee on the medium tyres that are almost dead, on the fuel tank that's almost empty, is between the 2 Leigh Porsches, and I think for a moment there he might have almost seen, he can now see Empire's 4th position, albeit with the damage. Very little fuel remaining on his car, and I'm concerned for Empire's fuel economy to the end of the race. JCGT comes through the penultimate corner of Watkins Glen to take what it might be an asterisk scoring victory, but he wins in Watkins Glen and crosses the line here to complete the SVR journey at Watkins Glen. Then we've got some battling for that 2nd position. Redux making his way all the way up to 2nd place, getting a fantastic drive off the corner, and he's going to take 2nd place here on the final corner. Redux for jam-packed interior goes into 2nd. Black Evo deposed to 3rd, and we go through then as Empire takes that 4th place. McGee for Team Mega will finish home in 5th. Monkey Games in 6th, just behind him with Quicks. I think sufficiently far ahead of Lou. No, not sufficiently far ahead of Lou. Lou's right on the tail here and taking that Brokaga forward through the race, but Quicks in 7th, Lou in 8th. We've got Breo just rounding the final corner in 9th, and Apex Not Found at the back of the group on the lead lap in 10th place. Kelvin the Boss is 11th. Gubernos is in 12th. We did lose Apex Specs, but JCGT in the Ferrari is your winner of the Watkins Glen round 2 of our SVR Championship. Congratulations to them. I will now just consult my post-race notes that I didn't want to go through any spoilers and see anything. So for the first time here of asking for me, I will just consult that. Let's go see if I can locate that nice and quickly. Stewarding, here we go. So let's see. Group 3 first division, second division, here we go then. So post-race decisions went by way of, firstly, Empire versus JCGT, and that was the lap 21. Steward's incident said, now this is pre any successful appeals, I must say, but the steward said that Empire was fully ahead at the approach of the bus stop, and JCGT did not yield the corner. So JCGT picking up a 10-second post-race penalty plus 2 penalty points. Now I don't know, because I don't have the times, whether that will actually depose him down to second or third positions. Empire himself picking up a 10-second finish, 10-second and 2 penalty point penalty at this stage for a very similar infraction in turn 13 with Motsky. I think we saw that one. Apex Not Found was given 5 seconds for contact with Monkey Games. Motsky was given 5 seconds for contact with Apex Not Found on lap 26. Then we have Breo being given a racing incident against Monkey Games. Breo again then being given a 10-second penalty against Monkey Games. The first of those was in lap 1 turn 5. The second was in qualification for, I think, not adhering to qualification instructions. Of course, we wouldn't have seen that on the stream. And then Apex Specs was given a plus 5-second penalty for contact with Quicks, lap 1 turn 7. A race absolutely filled to the brim with accident and incident. Let me know your thoughts on those incidents. Your favourite moments, please timestamp them, and we will make them into shorts as well. But for now, thank you so much for watching, and make sure that you tune in for the next rounds of the championship, starting with live stream at S1 on the @SVR-Racing channel. Please head there right now and subscribe. And from me, Webbo, from everyone here at SVR and the S4 Championship, thank you so much, and we will catch you on the next race day.